Welcome to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. Shortest month of the year in terms of days that are playable for the LMU athletic teams. And, of course, this Saturday will mark the midway point of February. It is Valentine's Day, so hopefully there will be no bloodshed on Valentine's Day. And, it's not always about love here at LMU during that particular day. It's going to be about athletics, and there are a lot of them going on. I can tell you that we will be talking about the upcoming events a little bit later on in the show, but I know that for a fact we've got lacrosse going on here on campus. First ever home official regular season men's lacrosse matchup this coming weekend. We've got baseball at home. They'll be in conference play against Newberry. And, of course, the LMU basketball teams will be in action as they play host to Lenoir-Rhyne. It's all coming up this Saturday, Valentine's Day here on the LMU campus. So, all right, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll talk with Jeff Sixeye, head coach of the Railsplitter baseball team. That's when we return.
Big problem, and we need your help.
It's happening on college campuses, at bars, at parties, even in high schools.
It's happening to our sisters and our daughters,
our wives and our friends.
It's called sexual assault, and it has to stop.
We have to stop it. So listen up.
If she doesn't consent, or if she can't consent, it's rape, it's assault.
It's a crime. It's wrong.
If I saw it happening, I was taught you have to do something about it.
If I saw it happening, I speak up.
If I saw it happening, I'd never blame her. I'd help her.
Because I don't want to be a part of the problem.
I want to be a part of the solution.
We need all of you to be part of the solution. This is about respect. It's about responsibility.
It's up to all of us to put an end to sexual assault. And that starts with you.
Because one is too many.
Hey everybody! Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change. Let's go!
To the Batmobile! Dang it!
To the invisible jet!
Dang it.
Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women. I could use your help. Yeah! Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
If you love your car or truck, let us help you keep it clean at Soapy J. Soapy J's has unlimited wash plans to fit every budget. Try our $5 express wash or one of our 3 monthly wash plans. The Wheel Deal, the Soapy J, or the new Blast Wax. With our monthly wash plans, if you pay with credit card, all you do is pay for the present month and your card will be billed on the first of each month. Don't forget, Soapy J's has free vacuums with any wash. Soapy J's Express Car Wash, open 7 days a week. Let us help keep your car or truck clean at Soapy J. Soapy J's on the Cumberland Gap Parkway, Middlesboro.
Welcome back to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. You know, it's hard to believe we're in mid-February, only 2 weeks into the month of February, not quite there yet. Saturday, of course, the midway point, and already the LMU baseball team has played 8 games, 3 of which are conference games. Their most recent games against Wingate University took a 2 out of 3 series win over the Bulldogs and won the first games 8-6, 11-8, lost the last game 11-7. Coach, that's almost ridiculous that you're already 3 games into the conference schedule.
Yeah, it's early, and that's the way it goes. You know, everybody in our league's in the same boat. I wish we weren't playing conference games this early, but it is what it is, and we got to be ready, ready or not. And so we got off to a decent start this weekend. You'd like to have all 3, but perennial power, Wingate, quality program. Get the first 2. Good start like they've had the third, but got to get ready for Newberry this weekend.
Let's go back a couple of weeks just prior to the start of the 2015 season. NCAA made some rule changes that allowed you to get started a little bit earlier. What advantages does that give all baseball programs, and in particular yours, with being able to start early?
Yeah, what that did for us was it allowed us to get a full weekend series in before we started conference play. It allowed us to start a couple days early, and had it not passed that, we'd have had to start on a Sunday and then turn right around and play conference the following Friday. The way they put it, we could play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday the weekend before at Aiken and get a full series in and kind of see what we had, and then be ready for conference play. Well, as ready as we could have been. So it allowed us to get a full weekend in prior to our first weekend against Wingate, and that's a rule that it will come into effect next year as well. So that's what it did, and didn't play well at Aiken, but at least we were able to get 3 games in and kind of see what we had and try to iron out some things and fix some mistakes the following week.
Aiken is typically a program that's preseason ranked, and I know that series has probably been going on for more than a decade, usually played in 3 days. You did get a doubleheader in against Claflin. I think you split with them. But the Wingate thing, now that I go to the series and the conference schedule getting started as early as it does, I know that Josh Schertz isn't particularly a fan of it, and his philosophy is you can't win the conference regular season in the first few games of the year, but you can sure play your way out of that title if you don't take care of business early. Now, you and I spoke the other day, and we were talking about, what was the preference of the baseball coaches in going to divisions, and I know they've come up with a kind of an alternative to that that's going to get started in 2016.
Yeah, what we've come up with is, it's called an unbalanced schedule moving forward in our 2016 season. Basically, you won't play 2 of the teams, so you'll only play 8 teams. There are 10 baseball playing schools, or 11 baseball playing schools in the SAC. So next year, instead of playing all 10 other schools, we'll just play 8. And the teams that you don't play will rotate every year. We won't, what that allows us to do is we won't play as many conference games, but we won't be getting started with conference play so early. So it gives us 2 or 3 weekends at the beginning of the year to really figure out what we are and what we got, and be a little more prepared for conference play. It does so for everybody in the league, but particularly us with our weather and some of the things we battle here, it allows us to get some more games in and figure out what we got. So, we'll see how that works. It could work to your advantage or disadvantage depending on how well you play, number one, and then who you don't play and who you do play and who's left off your schedule. But, so some schedules might be tougher than others depending on who you got to play. But, yeah, so we're looking forward to that, just to have a chance at the beginning of the season to figure out what we got a little bit more.
Now, I know that, you could probably only speak for yourself, but you do chair the committee for the baseball coaches throughout the league. Do they prefer this format over a divisional format, or is that a possibility in the future, or will you think it'll stay like this for a while?
Well, we discussed the possibility of going divisions. We discussed a lot of different things. No change at all. The reason we were forced into this was our conference tournament at the end of the year is so early. We got the earliest Division II baseball conference tournament in the country, which forces us to start playing conference games so early. That's kind of the root of it. We weren't able to get the conference tournament pushed back enough to kind of fix that problem. So we had to go to either divisions, unbalanced schedule, that kind of thing. So we discussed several things, and the thing that everyone voted on and liked the best was the idea of an unbalanced schedule, and that's what we went with, and that's what we got in place for next year.
All right, I want to approach a couple other things here, but before we go to talking about your particular team and the season at hand, as far as the play of the teams in NCAA baseball from the northern part of the United States to the southern part of the United States, do you think that the ones that experience more weather are at somewhat of a disadvantage in the terms of they're not able to get out on the field as much?
Yeah, no question. In our sport, baseball, it's really hard to duplicate game scenarios inside. Pitchers seeing live hitters, hitters seeing live pitchers, those types of things. This really fielders getting balls live off the bat in a game situation. You can't duplicate that inside. You can get your work in inside, but you just can't replicate the game indoors. Big advantage for schools that are in good weather. We're outside as much as possible. I don't like to be inside, but definite advantage for people who are outside every day in warm weather. Things like injuries, injury prevention, that kind of thing. So definite advantage, but it is what it is, and you roll with what you got.
I know that with baseball you've got a lot more players than some of the other teams, and that said, you have a lot more turnover year in, year out due to graduation and so forth. Big wins for you this past weekend, and I don't know a lot about the new guys on your squad, but it seems like they're settling in pretty nice. Everybody's learning their role, and everybody's getting it done.
Yeah, I was this weekend was a weekend that we played very well at times, and I don't think we've played our best baseball yet. But guys have been doing some good things offensively. We really got it going this weekend at times, and I like our offense. I've said that since the beginning. We were able to get it going a little bit this weekend, and pitched good enough. I think our bullpen was the real story of the weekend. I think that was the difference between this weekend and Aiken's weekend. Our bullpen was much better. In particular, Nick Morbido, the first 2 games just came in and was pretty lights out, which allowed us to not give up. And once we got the lead, not give it up. So he did a really nice job, and that was the difference in the 2 weekends. And so happy with that. If we could continue to get strong performances out of the bullpen, that's going to make us much, much stronger.
How would you compare this year's team at the plate as versus last year's squad?
I think that very comparable. I like this year's balance. Last year we had some guys in there. We kind of relied on the long ball a little bit more last year with some guys. I think we have the chance to create a little more offense this year with some speed and the small game, and we're a little more balanced. So I think in terms of run producing, this year's group has a chance to exceed what we did last year. We had a good year last year, but I think we're a little more balanced and can produce some offense in different ways this year instead of relying on just the long ball.
So a little higher ceiling in some areas than others from last year. All right, Coach, when you're in conference play, they're all big series. You got another one coming up this weekend. Tell us about it. And I know that just prior to our recording of this show, you mentioned that the start times have changed a little bit.
Yeah, we got Newberry this weekend, and Newberry going to be very good. They return. They got 3 starting pitchers that are all seniors, all returners. One all-region guy, a couple all-conference guys, so going to be very strong on the mound. They're going to be a very, very solid team. Our start times, we moved both days. Friday, we're now starting at 2 p.m. It was originally scheduled for 4 p.m. And then Saturday, we're going to start at noon. It was originally scheduled for a 1 p.m. start, so doubleheader at noon on Saturday. But, Newberry, we're going to be really ready to play. They're going to be quality all the way around, and they beat us 2 out of 3 last year at their place, and really pitched it well, and we expect more of the same this weekend, so we're going to have to be ready to go.
Coach, we're looking forward to seeing the Railsplitters back out on the diamond here at the Lamar Hennon this weekend. Hopefully we can take a little bit of bite out of the Wolves and escape out of here with another series win. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Jeff 6 and the Railsplitters again Friday, 2 o'clock start. Saturday will be a noon start on the Lamar Hennon. Free to the public. Come on out and show your support for the Railsplitters. We're back right after this on the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
You make me wear my bike helmet. You taught me never to run with scissors.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
And to follow the swimming rules.
You're always looking out for me and trying to keep me safe.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
Here in the garage.
Closet. Shoebox. Under the bed.
Where anyone can get to it. How safe is that?
How safe is that?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. If you own a firearm and are not using it, please be responsible and be sure that it's stored in a safe place. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org.
You can be a hero by being prepared for an emergency. First, make a plan. Call a family meeting to plan for things like how to connect with loved ones after an emergency. There. Or your escape route.
I am not fast.
Build a kit. When disaster strikes, it's important to have enough supplies to last 3 days. And don't forget the batteries.
Low battery.
Number 3, know the facts. From blackouts to floods, no matter the emergency, the more you know about it, the better you can deal with it.
You're gonna need some upgrades.
Number 4, get involved. Lend a hand in your community to help others know their role in an emergency.
You guys, do you feel this? We're gonna be heroes!
You can be a hero by being prepared.
Yes!
Visit ready.gov/kids for more preparedness tips.
Hard to believe with the cold temperatures and some of the rain that we've had throughout the tri-state area over the last couple of weeks that tennis action's already underway. But Benny Collins and the LMU tennis teams have already played 2 here in the spring schedule. Picked up, I'm sorry, beg your pardon, 2 last week. Picked up a season opening win, both teams did, over in Williamsburg against University of the Cumberlands. But this past week they got matches in against Eastern Kentucky University and against Young Harris. The Lady Railsplitters going 1-1, or 1 out of 2 for the week, and the Railsplitters going 0 for 2. Coach, when you talk about Eastern Kentucky University, you're talking about a Division I program, and you know, they compete against some of the elite programs throughout the country, so they have to recruit some elite players as well. Yet we gave them all they wanted up there, despite that 7-0 score on both sides.
We played them really tough. If you were there and you were watching the match and you couldn't see the scorecards, you actually couldn't tell who was winning. I mean, we stood in there and played them toe to toe. You know, they were just one ball better and one step quicker. You know, they've got a fantastic indoor facility up there. They get to train year-round. You know, they've been the Ohio Valley Conference champions the past 3 or 4 years. Coach Rob's put together some great teams up there, so they've really done well, you know.
You're kind of in the same situation that baseball, softball, and golf are under in terms of geographic location. I mean, you're at a disadvantage in terms of being able to get out on the court more when it's conducive to play tennis.
Correct.
You go down south into Georgia, into Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, you have much, much warmer temperatures out there, which I think allows you to get out there and play with a little more comfort and kind of excel to a greater level earlier in the year and do it more often, whereas up here, you know, you kind of got to get it in when you can.
We're in the tundra, as I call it up here. You know, the other day I looked and it was 27 degrees on my phone, and I've got every conference team that we play weather in my phone, so I checked them all. And other than Tusculum, Carson Newman, and Mars Hill, they were all in 55-degree weather, and we were in 27-degree weather, 20-mile-an-hour winds, which means they're practicing. We're indoors, jumping rope, lifting weights, doing whatever. So they do have an advantage over us early as far as really getting out there and getting to practice. Now, this year has been different. Last year was a terrible winter, Rusty. I mean, you know, it was bad, and we missed the whole month of January and part of February in practice. We just couldn't get on the court. It was ice, snow continuously. So we struggled as far as getting on the court, and we had a lot of injuries last year. I don't know if that was due to it was so cold and we got hurt, or when we did get to practice, we tried to do too much. I don't know what the deal was, but now this year's been much better.
Funny, you obviously couldn't see it, but as we went to commercial break a little while ago, right after we got through talking about the upcoming baseball series, Coach Collins was waiting his turn to come into the set, and mentioned to Coach Sixeye that this weekend, I think he was talking about Sunday, but said it's going to be 6 degrees. And I mean, can you imagine playing an outdoor sport at 6 degrees? I don't know that I'd want to even be part of the team at 6 degrees, but hey, you know, it
is what it is.
It is what it is, and you know, there's days where you play that maybe the court's a little wet. You got to go out, get a blower, dry it off, get the squeegees, get it dried off.
Right.
That's not a crew that does that. That's the coaching staff, and in many cases, some of the players as well.
We work real hard sometimes getting these courts cleaned off. A lot of times I'll look and see that we got a chance to practice outside. I'll go ahead and start before lunch getting the courts, trying to get them dried, and a lot of times can get them dried off. But now we've been fortunate this year as far as getting on the course. We've got more practice time in this year already than we did last year, the whole spring, you know, seems like. I know we've been on the courts a lot. The kids have performed really good and, you know, played well. We get to work on things that we don't do well, and it helps us a tremendous amount by doing that.
You're looking at some practice footage I think was probably shot back in the fall a little bit. Coach, I know that sometime back there was the implementation of lighting over the courts there. Do our tennis players utilize that facility under the lights very often?
Well, normally when you in this time of year when you turn the lights on, it's really cold. But now, you know, we played Young Harris on Sunday. We had to finish the matches under lights. So a lot of times we finish these early matches with the lights on. And on these real cloudy days, if it's warm enough and we stay later, we turn the lights on. And those lights are there for them to use if they want to go hit on their own at night, or if we decide to have a nighttime practice. In the fall, before I've had nighttime practice when the heat was just unbearable, we would come out and turn the lights on and have rail splitter tennis under the lights.
Now, I know that, you know, when you're playing tennis, obviously the ball will play a little different when you've got high winds or even a crosswind. What's the difference between night and day? I mean, is there a difference in the way the ball plays visually? You have to watch it a little different.
Well, you know, we have tremendous lighting. When they put those lights in, we were talking about it one time going D1, and so we actually put in D1 lighting, which is a brighter light than D2. And because the ball's faster, those guys hit the ball harder, so we have tremendous lighting. So if the lights are dim, you may play somewhere when they turn the lights on, they're not as bright. But at LMU, we've got really good lights, and so you can see the ball good. I mean, I actually see it better under the lights than I do normally. I don't see how they see it. The guys hit the ball so hard playing doubles, I don't see how they react to the ball. But on a cloudy day, it's a little harder to see that ball. When it's bright outside, you can see it better.
All right, let's get back to tennis. Obviously, the Railsplitters off to a little bit of a rough start. It's skewed a little bit because they did play a Division I team to open the year, Eastern Kentucky. Young Harris beat them 5-4. It was a very close match. Where does the strength of the Railsplitter team lie this year in terms of the singles and doubles play?
Well, we take the women. We'll start with the women first. You know, our women's team is very deep this year. We have 7 players playing right now. We have a girl injured with a knee injury. She's going to be out for the year. But we have 7 players that can all play, and we're deep, 1 through 6. We're very solid. These girls can all hit the ball. They can continuously keep the ball in play. We have players that can step up and play at the number 1, 2 position match up with anybody. 3, 4, we match up really solid. 5, 6, we're really good. You know, our 5, 6 players are really strong, and they've been winning matches down deep. So we're strong at the top, in the middle. We're a solid on the girls' team. The men's team, we've got 4 new guys coming in. These guys are very, very talented, but they're young. You know, I keep telling them, we've got the hardest schedule that we've ever had here. What I've done, I scheduled us a schedule to toughen these young guys up. You know, you've got, if you play feel-good matches and I go out and find these teams that we can beat easily, we do not grow as a team. We do not grow as a player. What we've got to do is play the toughest competition we can find to get ready for this conference play. You know, when you're going to face Wingate, Anderson, these really good teams, Coker, you better be ready to play. So if you've played a bunch of easy matches, when you get against those tough teams, you've never experienced that feeling before coming after you. So we have a tough schedule. We opened up at the University of the Cumberlands, and Coach Stan has really stiffened his program up. Top-notch players on both sides. We played Eastern Kentucky, a Division I team next, and we played a Peach Belt team. And that's our first win for the ladies against a Peach Belt opponent. So they stepped up and played really big. Now, the guys are young, like I said. They're getting experience, and, you know, the Young Harris match, we should have won 2 out of 3 doubles, could possibly won all 3 doubles. You know, Will Sparks and Big Josh beat Eastern's number 1 doubles team, and they're capable of playing with anybody, anywhere, if you can do that.
Do you think now that the South Atlantic Conference has lifted the scholarship restriction that the league teams will be able to build up to a point where they can compete with programs from the South, Southeast regions such as West Florida, yeah. Armstrong, sure. Atlantic, Valdosta State?
Well, if we're getting the same amount of scholarships they get, we'll be very competitive with them. You know, Armstrong, Atlantic, if you look at their tuition is very low. It's nothing like what our tuition is. So they can put together some of these great teams because it don't cost so much to go to that school. They got a real deal at some of these places. West Florida, same way. You know, but we should be able to compete, you know, and it's going to take us X amount of years to get to that scholarship limit, which will put us right there with these teams, you know.
Well, obviously you got some matches coming up. Tell us what this team's got to do, both teams have got to do in order to come away with victory. You
know, I talked to the guys yesterday, and I watched us play the matches, and, you know, we've got to work on what we're not doing well as a team. And, you know, you can't go out there and just reinforce what you're doing really good. What you got to work on is what you're not doing good. So we set our goals each day in practice to try to really stiffen up where we're losing points at, where we're not getting the job done. So that's what we have to do. The girls, we just got to keep having quality, good practices like we're having. You know, these girls going out there, they're working hard. My assistant coach, Alexander Granger, is doing a fantastic job helping me do that. She's driving nails now. She don't fool around. She's getting after them. So that's working well, and we just got to stay positive and continue working hard. If you work hard, good things happen.
Coach, I want to wish you the best of luck. I know that you got some upcoming matches, and we look forward to seeing your teams out on the courts.
Well, I think we're going to have a very competitive, good year. You know, I look at LMU tennis on the men's side and the women's side, and I think we'll be right there. You know, it's not what happens, like Denny Crum used to say, the coach at Louisville. You know, it don't matter what happens at the beginning of the season, what matters at the end.
Coach, best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, the LMU Tennis Complex, free to the public. Come on out and show your support for the LMU tennis teams, as they'll be in action again, I'm sure, this week and next week. We're going to take another time out. We'll be back to close out the show here on the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
At Citizens Bank, we're different from everyone else. We've proudly served business communities of Northeast Tennessee since 1912 and have security you can count on. We offer the convenience of internet banking, excellent loan services on various types of loans, cash management, and small business banking at all of our convenient locations in Harrogate, Tazewell, New Tazewell, Bean Station, and Morristown. Visit our website to find out more at citizensbanktn.com. Citizens Bank, no more banking as usual.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Maybe he's really focused.
Hey, Michael. Michael. Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
From commercial to residential, from the basement to the attic, Knoxville Drywall can deliver full-service drywall, insulation, and paint contracting. Knoxville Drywall specializes in new and tenant build-outs, drywall repair, drywall grids, metal stud framing, acoustical ceilings, suspended drywall ceilings, and ceiling and wall texturing and painting. Knoxville Drywall also provides wall-blown insulation for existing walls, attic-blown insulation, wall and ceiling batts insulation, and crawlspace insulation. Knoxville Drywall Incorporated, serving Knoxville and the surrounding area for more than 56 years with outstanding quality and competitive pricing.
Whether institutional case good or architectural woodwork, Nolan Products Incorporated of Knoxville has been serving East Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, and Southeast Kentucky since 1958. From concept to finish, Nolan Products custom builds to the highest quality standards to meet your facility specifications while using only the finest materials available. Nolan Products has been serving and meeting the needs and requirements of general contractors and architects in East Tennessee and surrounding area for more than 55 years. Nolan Products Incorporated, 912 Forsyth Street Northeast, Knoxville.
Congratulations to the LMU basketball team for picking up a road victory this past week over Newberry. Railsplitters winning that one 80-68. Lady Railsplitters not as lucky. LMU lacrosse team also got the 2015 season started. Unfortunately fell to Emmanuel 10-7. And the LMU men's and women's golf teams competed in the Kiowa Island Invitational down in Kiowa Island, South Carolina. Railsplitters were 4th, Lady Railsplitters 11th. Let's take a look now at the upcoming week in Lincoln Memorial University Athletics. There you see the baseball team, the series there against Newberry getting started Friday at 2 o'clock. Saturday's doubleheader gets underway at noon and 2 p.m. Lacrosse on Saturday, first ever home lacrosse match for regular season play for Lincoln Memorial. They'll take on Lee's McCray at 1 o'clock. That'll be out next to the Harrogate City Park there. Men's golf at the Spring Kickoff Intercollegiate down at Fleming Island, Florida. That's the 16th. That, of course, will be on Monday, the official start of that. And then there you see the Cougar Classic, Lady Railsplitter softball team under the head direction of Natalie Layden. Georgia College, Montevallo, Columbus State, Young Harris, all on the script for this weekend's play, as well as Lee University. And that is what we have for softball. Tennis, Mars Hill at 1 o'clock. That'll be next week, along with basketball against Lenore Ryan on Saturday, Brevard next Wednesday, and then, of course, basketball for the men over there on the same 2 nights. We'll also have the results of LMU versus Tusculum on next week's show. We certainly hope that you'll join us then. Until then, I'm Rusty Peace. Good night, everybody.